First of all, for archiving purposes, if you'd say your name and spell it for me, your full name.
Okay. My name is Sister Florence Bryan, FLORENCEBRYAN.
Okay, and your affiliation or your official title.
I'm a sister of St. Joseph.
Mhm.
In this parish, I'm a pastoral minister.
Okay.
I need you to say, I'm a pastoral minister at St. Edward's Catholic Church in Palm Beach. I need you to say that whole thing.
Okay.
I'm a pastoral minister at St. Edward Parish in Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, this is just going to be a conversation, so breathe and relax. It's okay, all right? I promise you, no one's going to bite you. Tell me a little bit. This is what I usually do with folks. I say, you know, tell me a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, what kind of girl were you? Were you a girly girl or a tomboy, and just sort of start off with that.
All right, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the youngest of 3 children, and I went to public school for the first 4 years, but I went to Sunday school, and that's where I met the Sisters of St. Joseph. And then later I was able to go to Catholic school, starting in the 5th grade. So I went to St. Paul's School in Riverside, then went on to Bishop Kenny High School for 2 years, and then transferred to St. Joseph Academy in St. Augustine. My interest is, I love dancing. I took tap dancing and was a cheerleader for grade school, not high school. Was very active in the Catholic youth group that we had. I really went to school at St. Paul's, but I belonged to Our Lady of the Angels Parish in Jacksonville, which is a much smaller, tight-knit community. So I enjoyed the social life of that parish very much.
You say it was tight-knit. What attracted you? What did that mean?
It was a smaller congregation. You really got to know people. I guess it was more my socioeconomic background fit into that parish.
Right.
And just, again, we were a smaller group, and so we did a lot of social events, especially in high school, centered in the parish. Our dances, our pool parties, our beach parties, hay rides, all that kind of good stuff was with the same little group of parishioners and people who were then also attracted to come to our events.
Okay. Who were some of the early influences on you growing up? Whether it were your parents, specifically any of the Sisters of St. Joseph, who were those sort of important people?
Well, definitely my parents, my sister, who was 10 years older than I, who was a wonderful big sister. When I started going to Catholic school, I made friends with Harriet, who we have been lifelong friends, and I would say that I learned a lot about the living of Catholicity from her and from her family. She's the one that I would go with, like at lunchtime we were allowed to stop by the church and make visits, and you know, she taught me a lot of the Catholic rituals, like saying the stations and doing things that I hadn't done being in public school. So I attribute a lot of my relationship with the Lord coming through our friendship.
So, from your perspective, what has been some of the impact that you have seen the Sisters of St. Joseph in working in the community?
I guess how I received the input of the impact the sisters have been through reunions that I've been to. And one part of my my life with the sisters. We opened a college in Jensen Beach. The college was open to laity for only 6 years. Closed in 1972, and 30 years later, through the social networking, the students got together again and had their first reunion. And I've been privileged to go to, they've had them every couple of years. And just hearing what it meant for them, most of them were from the Northeast. Some of them struggled in school, and they came to a small college, and again, that smallness and tightness helped them. They were in a small town. They were used to big cities. They had to adjust to living with a little retirement community there. And to know the bonds that were formed that have gone on for a lifetime, several good marriages, 3 priestly vocations, just from that short span. And from hearing the conversation of the students, I know that it was maybe not the impact of individuals, it was the impact of the institution that was there for them, made possible by not only the sisters, but by the lay people that we recruited as teachers. I was up in Jensen recently and met a woman whose daughter had also gone to school there. For another 6 years before the college, we had an academy. And it was the time of the Cuban crisis, and Catholic Charities was receiving a lot of these children through the Peter Pan program, and they were being sent to different places, and we were one of the receiving sites. So we kept, I was there too as a teacher, so we kept adapting the place to take in more and more of these little ones. And that some of them still have that contact, that it really was a home away from home for them as they waited for their parents to come from Cuba. The academy reunions we have in St. Augustine, where the boarders that we used to have there tell their stories of how the sisters became their mothers during their teen years. Some will admit they came from very dysfunctional families, and it was the first stability they had ever had, was at the Ed Academy. So I think that somehow or other we have been able to respond to the young people that have come to us in schools. That's where I've seen the most impact.
So what brought you to where you are today? How did all that happen?
How did I get to St. Edward's? Well, for 9 years prior to that, I had been working with Catholic volunteers in Florida, which was with young adults, college graduates, placing them with charitable organizations that needed their background. And I was also, I organized their retreats that we had about 5 times a year. And after a while, I was beginning to think it needed a little more energy than what I was finding I had. And so I spoke with Sister Jane and told her this might be a good time, not just for me, but for the organization, because all the other positions seemed rather stable at that time, for my position to roll over to somebody else. And so she presented the opportunity to come to St. Edward's, because what Father was looking for was presence, and he mentioned in particular to her the spiritual development of the women. They seemed to want more of that, and I had been blessed through the education the sisters gave me of informative spirituality before I became novice directress for another span of time in my life. So I had that background to bring. It was a great opportunity for me to step back. I loved preparing for classes in spirituality. I didn't know what else I could do here. I did tell Monsignor there was nothing in my background that prepared me to minister to this particular type of parish. And as I say, I came from a little church, very close-knit, and very different socioeconomic background. So it was like, I don't know what I have to offer, but I wanted Sister Elizabeth Ann to be able to stay here. I knew that we would close the place if we didn't, if she didn't stay, if she didn't have somebody to stay with her. So I decided maybe this is what the Lord wants me to do next, so I said yes, and I came.
That's the line. Maybe this is what the Lord decided I should do next. That's the line that
Right.
knits it.
Gotcha.
Although, Sister, we were told by Monsignor that at first you turned him down.
I don't know that I turned him down. As I say, I told him that I didn't, sorry, that I had misgivings about whether I would be able to do what he needed me to do. I don't know if I could be present, you know, like he said, well, just have to go to their teas and their galas and their, all of that really didn't sound like me. But I decided all you can do is give it a try and, again, enable somebody else to stay there who was doing a good ministry, visiting the sick and the homebound, and just see where it went from there. But, so I probably left him with a feeling of I'm not sure, because, again, I was just interviewing and I did want time to think about it and pray over it. So I guess he took that as I wasn't coming back. It wasn't an absolute no, but it was hesitation.
I think he was a bit concerned,
Yeah.
because he wanted you, but he didn't know if he was going to get you or not. So how have you found it to be here?
It's been a little slow for me to move in. We still, but I'm not alone in that, grappling with exactly what's the best kind of programs to offer. The people have been very welcoming. They do appreciate, and Monsignor especially, but all the parishioners who really seem to have an appreciation for consecrated life. And just the presence is all they ask. They don't ask for more. I have been able to help, I think, by taking over the scheduling of Eucharistic ministers and lectors and bringing some organization to that aspect of the ministry. And I've enjoyed, again, working with, you know, spotting people that maybe would like to be Eucharistic ministers or lectors, or working with those who did want to do that. It's still a struggle. We don't have as many as we need, but we're getting there. Since Sister Elizabeth Ann had to leave this year to go back to the Mother House, I've picked up visiting the homebound, taking them communion. It's very enjoyable. You know, I don't have many to do, but the ones that I visit, you feel like it is significant to them because they really, really appreciate the Eucharist, and that's very edifying to me to be with them. My programs remain small, but I know that for some people it has made a difference in their life. And so I just figured, again, it's the Lord's work, and whoever's supposed to be here will be here, and do the best you can.
Absolutely. Okay. So when you think, we're almost done, when you think about the future, both personally and the future of the Sisters of St. Joseph at large, do you worry about the future? Do you have any thoughts about that?
I don't stay up at night worrying about it, no. I don't know what the future is. I am blessed to have been asked to be the directress for the new member that we have. It has been a blessing to work with her. It makes you realize these are older prospects we're getting these days, you know, as opposed to my work in formation 30 years ago.
Right.
It's different. But the depth that they bring, the experiences they bring. And I know that there is some interest out there in religious life. But right now, we probably appeal more to the older spectrum of, you know, 40s or 50s because of our age.
Right.
I'm fine with that. I don't know what the future will be. I don't try to read it. I think we have done a wonderful job. I guess many of the ministries I've had, like the college, the academy, those places, we don't have those anymore.
Right.
Life has gone on. People are still doing well. We know there's fruit from those works. And I'm sure will continue to be good fruit from what people are doing now. And the future's in God's hands.
Yeah. Now, what didn't we talk about that you want to talk about? Is there anything we glossed over that you want to go back and add to or fill in or?
I'm sure somebody else would have said it somewhere along the line. Or will say it. You have so many interviewed.
Okay. Well,
I'm very grateful for my life as a religious. The Sisters of St. Joseph have given me much in my life. My life definitely wouldn't be the same. They've had me since first grade, so what can I say?
How long have you been a sister?
I've been a sister for 58 years. No turning back.
Okay, I think we've got everything.
I think we've got everything, sister. You were a very good interview.
Yes,
And
yes.
every so often you